Hi, Volume 6 of the Bible Story by Arthur S Maxwell. I'm reading from the 70-year-old books that I got. This book, Volume 6, has two women on a balcony. One has her hand raised as if she was releasing a bird, a pigeon, and has a message in her hand. And the one behind her looks a little upset. Okay? And we are at, if you've been following me, I am at part 1, story 13, Daniel sees our day. That's what it says. Okay? Did you ever wonder why the children of Israel did not ride into the promised land in jeeps? Or why David didn't kill Goliath with a revolver? Or why the wise men from the east did not follow the star of Bethlehem in a jet plane? Interesting. Oh, you say, because jeeps and revolvers and jet airplanes weren't invented in those far-off days. True, but why? The book of Daniel tells us why. In the last chapter, Gabriel lets us into another let us into another lets us into another secret. That's what it says. Confusing. And I'm American, and apparently I did some research, and this is English, like British English. Okay, let me get back to the story. I have been telling Daniel, he has been telling Daniel about all things to happen in the future, clear on down to the time when Michael, the great prince, shall come to rescue his people from the worst time of trouble that ever befell unto them. At the time of God's final victory over all evil, he says, many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that are wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. The sky. Firmament. It's a sky, I think. Okay? And they turn many up to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. Then Gabriel says to Daniel, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Which, if you think about it, it is now. And this is 70 years ago. Strange words. What can they mean? Seal the book. Which book? Which book? No doubt the book of Daniel was writing at the time. Until when? Even to the time of the end. The time just before God's final victory. Then what's to happen? The book is to be unsealed. People will begin to read it, understand it, and learn of God's plan. You will begin to run. They will begin to run to and fro, telling other people the wonderful news, and there will be a great increase of knowledge all over the world. Oh, yeah. You think about the internet. It is. Just think about it. And what I'm reading is 70 years ago, but let me get back to the reading. Did you ever stop and think that this may be the reason why so many wonderful things have been invented lately? Things that help people to travel quickly from place to place and make it possible for them to talk to each other over great distances. The telephone, cell phone, radio, internet, all that. That's now. Okay? Then it says, how do you travel nowadays? On camel like Abraham? On donkey, this time it does say donkey, as Balaam? In a covered wagon like the American pioneers or some of my ancestors? No, indeed. You travel by car at 60 miles an hour or by train at 100 miles per hour. It was 60 miles with their fastest. Now our fastest on the interstate 70. Think about that. If you wish, you could go almost anywhere by plane at 350 miles per hour, crossing oceans and continents in almost no time at all. Oh yeah. Let's see. I just watched the movie. It said 8 hours on an airplane, but if you got on this Concorde, you could be there in 4. Um, but this is before the Concorde. So, all right. Let me get back to the story. And now, do you talk to your neighbor? Do you walk half a mile and knock on his door? Of course not. You telephone or cell phone. And the printing is so offset. It's so out of whack. So you got Daniel doing his writing, and then people reading the news. One dude pointing up to the airplanes and the cars. Ooh, I like the 1950 car in here. That's on here in the TV. And then the covered wagons and it might be the Mayflower. There's 2 pages. Got Daniel up here at the top. These guys right here. And he's pointing up here to all this stuff. And I do like the 1950 car. And then the wagons and the Mayflower down at the bottom. Of course not. You telephone him. If he lives on the other side of the country, you wire him or telephone him if you have the money. Yeah, it still costs today. And if you want to talk to a lot of people at the same time, what do? You broadcast. You have a radio or a television program or a streaming service or YouTube, or I'm adding things to it. I'm just reading what this has. Adding things to it. Then you can reach millions and millions all at once. When you stop to think about it, this is the most marvelous age we have lived in. With its atomic power and hydroelectric power and every other kind of power to help us do the things we want to do. Atomic power. Yeah, but they're wanting to go green. Just look around your house a moment and see what you have that your great grandfather never had, nor dreamed about. Yeah, my great grandfather really didn't have very much. Depends on which one you're talking about. They were farmers. Okay? Pretty much. They really didn't have a plow. They had a plow, maybe. Okay? The electric washing machine, sewing machine. I got a pedal one in there. Dishwasher. I don't have a dishwasher here. Had one time. Refrigerator, deep freeze, television set. Got a television. And then it says hi-fi set. Hi-Fi is basically their version of Wi-Fi. Hi-Fi and whatnot. Look inside a modern hospital. You will see the shiny instruments they have there to make sick people well. Nobody knew about the X-ray, penicillin, which my husband was allergic to, very much allergic to penicillin. He was. Uh, sulfur drugs and things like this 100 years ago. Nope, sure didn't. I just was reading it too, mate. Whew. Look around your school. Take another peek at all the books in the library, all the instruments in the science lab. Yeah, we got some different things. Our school, can't do much of the stuff. How your grandfather would have loved all these things when he was a boy. Not really. He was pretty happy with the truck, though. And he might have would be happy with the tractor. Either one of them. Yeah, either one of them. And they speak of knowledge, more knowledge, increased knowledge. How marvelous did Daniel should how marvelous that Daniel should have seen all this long, long ago. What wonderful secret Gabriel told him. And then it has a picture of every kind of, it looks like every ethnic group here. We have the Eskimo, which could be for the natives, the little kid from Africa, and then you got the Dutch, the little girl with the Dutch, Chinese, and then Indian, not Native American, because that's what the Eskimo is supposed to be, and then the Mexican. And they're looking at the Holy Bible. And this is what it looks like. Most of them are in their native dress. Okay. And as it goes, that's the end of uh, part 1, story 13, and also the end of part 1. So we have gone a very far way in those stories. So we're going to stop for a little bit, and then I'll get ready to restart on this next part, and we'll see what happens. But that got us up to a certain part in the Bible. So that is it for right now. And I'll be back as soon as I can with the rest of them. I'll see you later.